Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations Landed Cost. Today we are going to see the landed cost module, how it works. We will take a scenario in the actual system. So first, what is landed cost of an item? Landed cost of item is equal to purchase cost plus additional cost till bringing the item to company warehouse. So what are the advantages of using this module? See, in regular purchase, we physically receive the goods first, and post this we book the purchase invoice. Booking the purchase invoice means financially booking the purchase voucher, which means ownership transfer. But in international trade, based on the trade terms which are also known as Ecoterms, goods ownership may change as soon as the goods are loaded on the ship thousands of miles away. This is exact opposite of the regular trade, meaning we book the purchase invoice first, goods are thousands of miles away. As soon as they are loaded on the ship, goods are physically not with us, but the ownership is with us. So this scenario, which is goods in transit, is handled using landed cost module. Also, since goods are thousands of miles away, they are coming from the purchase vendor warehouse to our company warehouse, and this complete journey may involve different legs, small parts of the journey, like the goods may travel through ocean, they may travel through road, they may be transported via train. So each leg of the journey may have a expected start date and an actual end date. So all these dates are linked and tracked using this module. Also, the additional costs which are part of my item cost, such as duty, freight, can be booked, recorded in the system via recording the actual vendor invoices as soon as we get those invoices. This module has some setups. First and foremost, we have to enable the landed cost feature in the feature management, and then there are some configurations, small configurations in delivery terms, also landed cost module configurations. We are not going into the configurations in this demo. That can be handled in a subsequent presentation video, or you can go through the documentation. So let's start in the product. So let me create a new item first. So let us give a name to this item, LC item 4, landed cost item 4, and let's take some. So we'll take the costing item model group as V4, storage dimension, site warehouse, tracking dimensions none, purchase 100, let's say sales 200, inventory price 100. So we have created this item. So far so good. Now let's go and create a new purchase order. Let's take site and warehouse as 2 and 24. So these are all these default configurations and setups I'm using. So this is the purchase order which is created. So the purchase order ID is 151. So one quick setup we need to see. If I go to header, PO header, and in the delivery terms I need to select the delivery terms. Let's say I select Xworks. So if I go to Xworks delivery terms, you can see goods in transit management is enabled. Also, like I said, in the feature management, landed cost module should be this should be enabled. Coming back to the purchase order, so we have to select the delivery term which has the goods in transit enabled. Now next I will select the same item we just created, LC item 4, site warehouse 2 and 24. The reason for selecting the site warehouse 24 is, if you see this warehouse, for landed cost module to work, we need to have the transit warehouse, goods in transit, and under delivery. This should be configured. So this is configured for the warehouse 24. I am taking quantity as 100, unit price as 100. That's it. So I'll confirm the So let's quickly confirm the purchase order. So now the PO status is confirmed. Next is, we will go to the landed cost module and create a voice. So we'll create a new voyage. I'll give a voice number. Let's say we call it voice 6. Here the important part is we need to select a journey template. So I'll select this one, which is Shanghai, China to Long Beach. Mode of delivery ocean. Rest setups I can select or I can skip, those are not mandatory. Now this voyage 3 is created, voyage ID 3 is created, and the PO 151 which we created is also showing here. So let us select this PO and add this to the staging list. So it's showing a record added to the staging list. Let's open this staging list and now add this to the shipping container. This measurement is not mandatory. I have given it a value, but it's not mandatory. It is required if we are using the loading of cost calculations based on the measurement. There are different options present. I will quickly show you. So the voice is created. So if I come back to my landed cost and my voyage and I select voyage 3, So if I go to general and inquiries and tracking, so you see a journey, a default journey, and its legs have been created based on the journey template. So it's showing different legs as loading, then the Shanghai port to the US port, customs, local. In this screen, I can even go and edit and create more legs. Also, I can update the, let's say I want to update the start date, which is happening today. So system will calculate the start date for different legs of the journey and the estimated dates for the different parts of the journey. One more thing, this landed cost module is integrated with my supply chain. So if I go back to my PO, so the estimated end date is 6/26. If I go to back to my purchase order, refresh it, and on the line, if I go to delivery, so confirmed delivery date is now refreshed and updated on the purchase order line also, which is 6/26/2023. Also, if I click on cost inquiries, it will show me the different costs. These are coming from the setup, which is auto cost setup. We can manually also go and add different cost components or the additional costs which are are part of this process. The voice, and if I go to the container and I go to cost inquiry, it will show me these are the two different costs, additional costs, which are estimated. There is going to be a air freight, and so this is just some standard for demo purposes I have taken, and the estimated cost of 40 and 400. Now, next is when we get the intimation that the goods have been loaded on the ship, we need to book the purchase invoice because the ownership transfer has to happen. So to book the purchase invoice, if we go to voice, manage, and click on post invoice. So we can post this invoice from the purchase order, or we can post this invoice from the voice level as well. Advantage of posting from the voice is that a single voice may have different purchase lines or different items from different purchase orders. So we can post the invoices from at the voice level as well. So we will take the line to be defaulted from ordered quantity and also update match status, and then we will do the purchase invoice posting. So if we go back to the PO and refresh it, we can see the purchase order is invoiced. Also, if we go to the PO line and if we go and check the on-hand inventory, we can say that this inventory now is physically lying on my GIT warehouse 24. Also, if I go to inventory management and let's check the inventory value for this item, quickly, if we run the inventory value report, so on the purchase order, we have 100 quantity for 100 unit price, so that is 10,000. And now the landed cost or the inventory cost is 10,440. 400 was the freight, estimated freight, and 40 was the air freight estimated. So this is correct. Also on the voyage, we can go to the voyage editor and we can go and update the journey dates based on the actual end dates each leg. For example, let's say if I say कि my first leg is completed, so I'll go and put the actual end date and system will update. So this tracking can be done from this screen. Next step is we need to finish the goods in transit order when we actually receive the goods in our warehouse. So so we go to the voyage and click on manage and click on goods in transit. Now we can go on the purchase order, select the item line, inventory, and click on hand. We can go to the overview and now we can see that physically the 100 stock quantity is available on warehouse number 24. It's removed from the GIT warehouse, so this is correct. So we have received the goods now in our own warehouse. Next is we will have to when we have to book the freight or the additional cost invoices as and when we receive them. Example, let's say we receive the freight invoice and we need to book the actual freight invoice when we receive it. So we go to invoice journal, create a new invoice journal, and create the lines. So this is the vendor from whom we have received the invoice. Let's say this invoice we have received from cargo carrier. This is the actual invoice date. This is the invoice number. And the amount is, instead of 400, it's $2,000. We will go to function and select the invoice, select the voice, and select the cost component for which we have received the invoice for. So this example, let's say the expected was 400 freight, but the actual we received is 4,000. Sorry, 2,000. Click on OK and post this invoice. So the invoice is posted. Now if we go to the inventory value, run the inventory value report. So if we again run the inventory value report, so the landed cost has changed and it's now updated. So 10,000 was my purchase cost. There is another air freight expected cost of 40 and the actual freight cost booked is 2,000. So the landed cost is 12,040, which is correct. Also, if I go to my voice and go to cost inquiry, it's showing me against the freight cost component, the actual cost is 2,000, which is correct. This is how we will use the landed cost module in Finance 365 Finance and Operations. As and when we receive the other additional cost invoices, we can go and book them, and the system will update my inventory cost. So this is all in this session. Happy learning. Thanks for viewing.